How do you find the product of a fraction and a mixed number? In today's lesson, you will learn how to find the product of a fraction and a mixed number using area models. Let's look at this problem here. What is the product of 2 1/4 and 1/2? First off, we know that we can represent this problem as the multiplication equation 2 1/4 times 1/2 equals question mark. So the way for us to figure out how to do it with area models, let's just first take 3 squares to represent our 2 1/4. We're going to do 3 squares because 2 1/4 is bigger than 2 and less than 3. Next thing we want to do is to represent 2 1/4 in these three squares. So we'll split up our squares into quarters so that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters makes up 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 quarters makes up 2, and then 1 more quarter gives us 2 1/4. So right now we have 2 1/4 represented in an area model with quarter strips. For us then to represent 1/2, we would have to take each of our 3 squares and split them in half, like so. Now what we want to find out is how many of the double shaded rectangles we have. If we were to count, we see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 double shaded rectangles. And we also notice if we looked at each of our holes here, we've split it, and I'll represent this in green. We split this each into 1, 2, green was a terrible choice. Split each into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So for us to answer what is the product of 2 1/4 and 1/2, we take the number of double shaded squares or rectangles, which is 9, over how many equal parts we had represented in each square, which was 8. Because we took each square and divided it into 8 after, in the end. And so 2 1/4 times 1/2 is going to equal 9/8. For us to change this into a mixed fraction, or mixed number, it's 9 divided by 8. 8 goes into 9 once. Remainder of 1, which means that our answer is 1 and 1/8. Now it's your turn. We have the problem 1/3 of a 3 1/4 acre park has been set aside as a dog park. How many square acres are used as a dog park? At this point in time, feel free to pause the video, solve, and resume the video to check your answer. Alright, let's go over it. So if we have 1/3 of a 3/4 acre park that's going to be changed into a dog park, first thing we want to do is represent this as a multiplication equation. So that looks like 3 1/4 times 1/3 equals question mark. So I've gone ahead and given 4 squares to start out with because 3 1/4 is greater than 3 but less than 4, and I want to be able to represent the whole thing. So then I'll divide all of my squares into quarters. And shade in 3 1/4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. My first square makes 1 hole. 5, 6, 7, 8. And my second square together makes 2 holes. 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 3 holes, and then I throw in 1 more quarter to get 3 1/4. Next thing I want to do is to divide each of my squares into thirds and shade in 1/3. So here I've gone and split my squares up horizontally, so that now I have squares, my square originally split up into quarters, now in thirds, so they're now split up into 12ths. Let's count and see how many double shaded squares we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13 shaded squares that are shaded doubly shaded. And each of my squares are split up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Which tells me that 3/4 times 1/3 is going to be 13, which is the number of double shaded squares I have, over 12, which is the denominator, or how many parts my square has been split up in the end. Then we'll change this into a mixed number. 13 divided by 12. 12 goes into 13 once. 12 times 1 is 12. Remainder of 1. So our answer is 1 and 1/12. This is now the simplest form since 1 is in our numerator, which makes 1 the only factor and the greatest common factor. So, how many square acres are used as a dog park? 1 and 1/12 square acres. Today you have learned how to find the product of a fraction and a mixed number using area models.